Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's ad-free live stream. My name is Tyler. I'm super pumped that you're here. If you're here for the first time, welcome. I'm going to be helping navigate through this wild world of day trading futures. During these live streams, I'm going to be breaking down live price action, sharing my daily trading bias, and sharing real-time trades to give you all a front row seat to all the action. No fluff, just the good stuff. Now, if you're watching after the stream, you can jump right to the key moments using the calendars and the chapter markers below. You'll find all the trades that I've taken, along with the detailed explanation so you can learn exactly what I was thinking and why. Now, for those of you that are looking to take your trading to the next level, I got a discount for you. And for my community, for those that would like to use the code DTJ, you can get the 80% off on your next eval account. With Apex, 80% off using the code DTJ. It's always the most updated discount available using that code with Apex. You can find the codes and the links down in the description of this video. Let's go ahead, open in prayer, and get rocking and rolling this morning. Father, we honor you and thank you for another day. I thank you for another day where we are healthy and whole, Father. Another day that you are still in control. Another day we can sit before the markets and receive what you have for us. Father, I pray for everyone here, Lord, that they would see increase in their finances, increase in their education, increase in their relationships. Father, that you would touch every area of their lives, they would see increase. Father, we just honor you in today's trading, and we choose to be patient, and we wait for those A+ setups in Jesus' name. Amen, amen. Okay, folks, how we doing this morning? Welcome to this beautiful Tuesday. Yesterday was all rainy and everything, and today is a lot better. I think, tell me if I'm correct, but my audio should sound significantly better than what it was yesterday. I re-listened to some of the audio yesterday. I'm like, holy cow, what's going on? Basically, I had to reset everything. So I got all my levels already up. We got our new day opening gaps that are sitting up here. We got our opening range gap that's going to be sitting somewhere around this area. We got the new day opening gap sitting right there. We got midnight open over here. We got everything. We got our highs. We got our lows. Well, I don't think I got my highs and lows. Let's check that out here. Let's see. And we did sweep yesterday's low. So now the question is, are we going to get a double break or are we staying with a single break action today? I don't know. I'm partial to the downside. But we just need to see what the market wants to actually do. We can't just tell it. We do have this volume imbalance sitting right here, part of the daily fair value. I really like this, reaching into this daily fair value gap. If I had a preference, I would like to reach into that volume imbalance. So I have a volume imbalance. There it is. I ended up taking a long here this morning. There was an inversion. It wasn't the prettiest one, but we swept the liquidity and we had that nice reaction. Took just a 10 handle move, just up 10 handles on my accounts. Didn't want to do anything too cray. Ted, good morning. Northern, good morning. Eva, good morning. How are you? Good to have you guys here this morning. There's a nice inversion right there. Moving higher. We see a nice pattern here of respecting all of these order blocks. All these order blocks are being respected. So I don't expect it to stop right here. We got 8 minutes till the market opens. We got no news today. And we'll see what happens. we'll see what happens. For those that joined the Purpose Driven Academy, Trader Academy, welcome. I'm super pumped that you guys are here. We're going to get rolling. It might start a little slow, but we're going to get things rolling. I'm going to be looking to take that the 930 model again here this morning. We've had, I don't even know at this point, I'm going to look, but we've had several days in a row of a repeats on that. I'm just going to see how many days in a row we've actually seen that work in a row so far. Let's see here. It has been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row. Then we had one loss, and then it was 4 days in a row. When you see something work so frequently, you kind of get a little nervous that something's going to happen with it. But this is just a nice little pick-me-up. Nice little pick-me-up, nice little winner. Get 5-10 handles right off the open. I'm going to be testing it again with the copier. I'm only going to be doing, I may do 5, I'm only going to do 2 contracts. I'm not going to do very many. I'll slowly increase it over time. But I want to continue to make sure that as I'm adding copied accounts, that it's actually executing the trade. That's good morning, Guttenberg. Glad to have you this morning. Welcome, JR. How you doing? How's it going? Let's go ahead and hit the like button, guys. Let's get 10 to 12 likes, and then we'll look at taking a trade on screen here. We got 5 minutes till the open. We've already done most of our pre-market charting. We've done our pre-market charting already. And now we're really looking at a higher time frame narrative. My higher time frame narrative, I mean, it's obvious. I mean, you look at this daily chart and I'm looking at lower prices. Now, at what point do we begin to do that? I mean, there's a 77% chance that we run a previous day low or high. There, we've already ran both these lows. Do I expect us to run this previous day high? I'm going to say no. Obviously, I could be wrong if they want to run to all-time highs again. But I'm not going to lie. War is closer than we've ever seen. War is closer than we've ever seen. And I just don't see the market pumping. Carmen, good morning. Sandra, good morning. Ali, good morning. We are going to have a blessed day. Amen. Charles, good morning. Yippee, I caught that bounce off the lows. We're rejecting off Friday's close and Sunday's open. I did take that trade as well I did take this trade right here. We swept Friday's lows and we saw this reaction. I got in a little early. I got in here and it ended up failing, but we had this nice reaction here. And I took a long basically from right here. The close above this inversion, I just played it to this high and this push higher right here. Got a nice little handle out of it. Obviously, could have held it for a lot longer. I'm partial to taking profits when we don't have news. I did actually select another contract. I did try to leave one on there, but I accidentally closed it. So, is what it is. I heard somebody in the Discord, Northern was actually talking about we had some announcements coming on. We had Nvidia and Walmart third quarter earnings are tomorrow. Walmart's just before opening today, and Nvidia is tomorrow. I really don't keep track of those personally. After close, gotcha. Got 2 minutes till. All right, so we have our opening range gap that's sitting right here. 6 days in a row for the 930 model. We're gonna see if we can make a 7 days in a row here. All right, here we go. Let's see, we got a little bit of liquidity right there. And there it is. Nice. That's 7 days in a row, folks. Let's see if it copied on all the accounts and everything closed correctly. Yes, sir, it did. Okay. Building more confidence on that. Asia Gap last night didn't get run. Here we go. That is the 2 minute. Let's drop down to the 1 minute here. So we just swept a minor buy side liquidity that's overlapping with a fair value gap sitting right here. We're going to see how that wants to play out. And that's 930. So we got 930 right there was the opening price. And we want to mark our 930 level here. We got a lot of low resistance liquidity. We could just see a nice push higher. We got our new day opening gap sitting at the top of this opening range gap. Good morning, Jordy. How you doing? All right, let's watch how this retracement happens. If we can find support at 930 and we don't run lower than 930, we could see a continuation higher. Hopefully we get some type of inversion from that. We could also consider this as a breaker right here. But I made a good chunk of change in the pre-market. I'm going to be pretty reserved for my day. It's just the pre-market move was pretty nice. I want to make sure we're taking A+ type setups. All right, so we do have this breaker here, high, low, higher, high, that we've ran into. We've ran into the down close candle, the low of it. There's the initial reaction from it. Got a small inversion right there on the 30-second. We'll keep an eye on that. Sweep. There's really no reason for it to stop here other than that breaker that's sitting right there. $621. I haven't even looked at any equal highs. What do we got? Oh, yes we do. Look at that. It's a good call. Good call. Those equal highs, I would feel the same way. Where's my equal high button? There it is. A lot of low resistance liquidity right here. We took a long, Jordy, pre-market right when we swept this, the previous Friday's low, previous week's low. Had a nice reaction here. We went long off of this inversion right here. When I say we, I meant me. Nobody else was here. Heck of a reaction on this breaker sitting right here. Breaker gave a good reaction. Did it stay under 10 handles? That's my big question. Were we under 10? Yes, we were. Because I like to take all my breakers with a 10 handle stop loss. And so that initial touch of this down close candle on the 15-minute was what I was looking at. I do like all this low resistance liquidity. I just don't have an entry model that I'm really liking. We do have that small fair value gap here, but that we don't have a fair value gap after this. So I'm waiting for that next fair value gap. $30-second, and let's see what 30-second did not close above that. Here's a breaker, really tight on the 30-second, low, high, lower, low. See if it wants to find support at the 1028 new week opening gap level. Around the 525s. There's a nice little push higher. I like the momentum of this. I'm not liking that. That should have went. I'm not liking how it's messing back and forth. I wanted to see that push really quick. I'm going to take some size off there. We'll take this actually to 2 in case it does want to run. Moving my stop to break even. We did sweep that high. Not going to take a loss on this. All right, there's one contract left. We'll see how high this wants to go. Holy macaroni. There's high. There's the sweep of liquidity there. I'm going to take that. A little sloppy. Not the way I wanted to see it, but it worked out. That inversion did pay. The volatility just was very, it could easily mess with your emotions. I don't know if you guys felt that, but nice win. We got off of that inversion to the upside. And I was just I was willing to go lighter on it because I was already green from the pre-market this morning. But I think that was a great setup. We had a nice reaction on this this candle here. I just wish that it closed, just a hair bit higher so you could have got in at a better price. But we closed up here, so we had to deal with all this drawdown right here. But we never closed below it. Bodies never went in back into this fair value gap. And then we had a nice little push higher. Sweep of liquidity was the midpoint. That's what I was targeting. We had this right here, that level. Midpoint of the opening range gap. You can expect the 50% of this to be filled within the first 30 minutes of trading. And that's, we're within that 30 minutes. We're in 12 minutes in. But I still like those equal highs. But let's see where our day is. Previous day high. Sitting up there. Yeah, we could get those previous day highs. Or, excuse me, we could get those equal highs. And not run the previous day high. I really don't want to see the previous day high ran. Now, if we do... here's the thing. if we are able to identify when a previous when we get a double break, so we swept the low and we swept the high, there's a good chance we get really good price action and just some type of continuation move. I just don't like the idea of a continuation move based on what we're seeing right here. So it's just not in my own cards as far as a narrative that I could predict and actually capitalize on. So I'm not really interested in a push towards these highs sitting right here. Those highs right here. I don't mind us running for these equal highs. If we can run the equal highs, that could set up for a nice trade lower. Or do some consolidation up here around the new day opening gap and then start kind of moving lower. I can't complain. Just going to take what the Lord has given me from the market. Yes and amen. 1 hour chart is what I'm looking at. Jordy, let's check it out. 1 hour. So we closed here. We swept liquidity. We're in the last hour, 14 minutes left. To be fair, what if this one of those immediate rebalances? Totally see that. Let's look at the 4 hour real quick. Let's see what liquidity we have on the 4 hour. So the 4 hour ran this liquidity. Here's the thing. If we, just my personal opinion here, looking at the 4 hour, if the 4 hour closed above the previous week low, I would say we're more bearish than anything. But because we swept it and we're closing up here, I'm thinking about which direction is the manipulation for the 4 hour. Is it higher or lower? It's really hard to tell from this point. I think the 1 hour could give a narrative where we sweep back down, maybe touch this daily imbalance, and then we push back up towards these equal highs. So I like that idea of continuing to play the downside. Personally, it falls in line with my odds from understanding previous day highs and lows. So I think that falls in line there, Jordy. I think that's a good analysis. From a 15-minute perspective, we're inside the last fair value gap, 15-minute fair value gap. And typically, if we're going to see lower prices, that last fair value gap on a 15-minute will not be ran. For example, here's a 15-minute. We ran up to the high but never broke it. We turn the other way. Here we come up into the 15-minute here, and then we roll over. So there's just evidence that we could see lower prices. I like that idea. I think we need to wait and kind of just see if we get any nice, decent setups. Yeah, you can frame both directions. And when you have a lack of narrative, it's just, like you said, it's hard to pinpoint something. Had a nice breaker here on the 30-second. We had this 30-second also closed below right here. And we haven't swept liquidity. This is the liquidity I would want to see sweep now that we ran that inversion right here. Not interested in taking it yet. Just a little indecisive on what's going to happen here. So up $1,000 on the day, altogether on all my funded accounts copied. So about $200 per account on a no news day with half size. That's not bad. That's not bad. I can't complain about those days. When I'm reducing my size and I get $200 or so, I think that's a great day. All right, this looks, let's see how this candle closes here. It looks like we want to go higher at this point right here. Thank you, sir. All right, so we just violated this inversion here. We're inside this breaker right here, and we are within our time frame. I mean, we're just on the 1 minute. We're just missing the fair value gap right here. If we had a fair value gap here, I would say I'm in short, full porting to the downside. The sloppiness of the wicks are what's causing the hesitation on my part. And that's just because those are my entry models. There's other entry models that you could have taken just off of that right there. You could have taken this order block and taken that entry at the order block. I just wish there was a fair value gap right there. I would have been in short. We do have an inversion that's right there that closed, that we ran. Just a little small. A little small. Not very obvious. I like the obvious ones. Looks like it's going to fail anyway. I consistently have to remind myself that I don't need to take everything. I like that level there. I'm going to watch this. That was really aggressive down move. I want to see if that was a fake. There's a close. Sorry, was a little distracted. Got somebody calling me at the same time, all that. So that inversion to the upside worked just based on the aggression that we were seeing to the upside. I took that to the swing high right here. We ended up running it. I sold 2 contracts there, held one to see if we wanted to run higher, and it immediately rejected, telling me that I'm glad I moved my stop to break even. We'll see what happens if price is going to stop there or continue. And those were not copied. Son of a gun. I hate when that happens. It's like you gotta constantly recheck these. That would have been nice. That would have been another $50 per account. Targeting 624. The equal highs, huh? Not gonna lie, I see a market maker sell model forming. Right here. To the downside. The only part that's missing is this wick right here. I really would have wanted this to run below this. We'll see if it, let's see if we displace. Low resistance liquidity right here. All this right there. We got one fair value gap that's sitting there. We got low resistance liquidity here. I mean, it's 50-50 in my opinion, folks. You got to see which one makes the most sense. Is this our, was this our first fair value gap? Where's our first fair value gap? I don't know if I marked that. Here it is. Yeah. So this is our first fair value gap of the day. It's gyrating up and down, so my concern is that if we close below this, we could see another. We may just get a light sweep. The thing about these no news days is we get light sweeps of these. So if you're going to take this inversion, which is not bad, it did sweep a little bit of liquidity, so it's not an A++, it's probably A-. That if this closes below it and runs this low, you need to be very quick on selling, you know, taking your first take profit at this low. I'm done on the day. Another green day. Way to go. Way to go. Way to go. That's awesome, man. Congrats. Yeah, I totally get that, Ryan. It's super A-. See the aggression to these upside moves? These aggression to the upside, man. I want to stay out. I want to wait. I mean, even this 1 minute failed right here. Actually, yeah, this 1 minute failed too. This 1 minute inversion didn't sweep any liquidity to the downside. So really, I'm looking for something a little bit different. I want to see what price wants to do. Yeah, I think the reason why, I know we swept the previous day lows. I'm looking at that daily volume imbalance. I think we might try to reach for that daily volume imbalance. It would be nice if we hit these equal highs and then ran for that daily imbalance. I would say that would be my preference. That would give me significantly more confidence on a downside move. So I think that's probably what I'm going to do. I'll probably wait, see if we run these equal highs, grab the new day opening gap, and then look for that move lower. I think everything that I try to take short, it just seems to, it seems a little sus, and I just don't want to mess around with it. Now, if we get a nice displacement lower, running some of this liquidity, then I could look for some type of small retracement into a breaker or an inversion fair value gap and then take a short off of that. But anything in here, it's just a little sus for me with these equal highs, because I see a narrative for either. I see these equal highs and I see this volume imbalance to the downside. And based on just the daily higher time frame, the daily higher time frame narrative is 100%, in my opinion, bearish. And I would want to see lower prices. Northern, have a great day, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Unless it starts displacing here. It's 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Yeah, it's a little rangy, Jordy. Just up and down, up and down. I do like that 30-second, though. I'm not going to lie. That 30-second looks legit. We swept liquidity. We have low resistance liquidity to the upside. I think I'm going to take that with a small position. And it failed. Don't you like those quick fails? I just said I was going to wait. Why did I take that? All right, I'm sitting out. Hands are off. You guys can see my hands. Way to go, David. Congrats. I love seeing the success in the chat, guys. I really do. Sweep of the low. There's another 30-second inversion. Heck no, I'm not taking nothing. You think, why did it fail on this one, and why is it wanting to potentially work on this one? Well, let's see if it even wants to run that high. It's just when that happens, you just gotta remind yourself that you just gotta stay out, even if this one works. You just gotta stay out. Yes, sir, Bob. I'm going to move that a little bit. Got a 30-second breaker to the upside, but there's no displacement in any of these candles that makes me interested in it. And look at that 1 minute wick that just was created with a very shallow body. Are you on lunch, Jordy? Lunch break? That's convenient if it's over your lunch hour. Sitting on our hands, folks, just waiting for some clarity on direction. We're just going back and forth right now inside this range. Actually, we are able to now give a range for price. Let's see what we got here. 930 right here, and there's our high. 950. All right, so let's do a Fibonacci 12. One standard deviation is this black and green lines at 95% and 100% of one standard deviation. One's to the upside, one's to the downside. This one is on the low end of this 5-minute fair value gap, and then this one does sweep the equal highs and stays shy of the midnight open. No clarity on that either. What's this level here? Liquidity. All right. Jordy, I'm in Omaha, Nebraska. Oh, I totally get it. It helps keep you disciplined. Doing something else? Keeping your hands busy? I'm literally sitting here continuing to remind. I'm just giving you insight on what's going on in my head. I'm literally sitting here reminding myself that this is crappy price action, that even if something looks good, to not take it, because we need to let it, we need to be confident that it's leaving consolidation, leaving crappy price action, and wanting to show us that it wants to do something in our favor. Right now, nothing looks, I mean, I don't see any clarity on higher or lower at this point. No, we don't do no buggies here. I don't even know what a buggy is. Is that a bug? That's what my nieces and nephews. A buggy. I don't know where they would do that. I haven't heard that in the South either. All right, just watching order flow. We got this 30-second inversion right here. See if it wants to run for liquidity to the downside right here, or if it's just going to fail again. Not taking anything, just watching it play out. Oh, they call that in Texas? Okay. There's a breaker. Tap of the breaker on that last candle. This is indicative of consolidation price action. It's just it's sloppy. There's no rhyme or reason. This is why we don't take trades in this. We just got to stay out. We did sweep a little bit of liquidity, but I mean, I'm not going to trade that. Nope. And in the UK, no way, Sandra. They call it a buggy, a shopping cart. What do I call it? I just have my kids. I just say go grab a cart. I think that's what when I tell my kids to grab one, I'm like, just grab a cart, grab a shopping cart. Yeah, cart or shopping cart, pretty much. A biggie? Yeah, we call it a stroller. A buggy? Trolleys. This candle has the beginnings of something nice, but we need to see how it closes. We want a full body close, not a wick. A wick is just a continuation of what has already been, as Kamala says. Being unburdened by what has been. There was I saw this interview that happened that, it was this basically inside the Democratic, like when Biden was stepping down and Kamala took his place, there was this whole thing on, somebody was talking about like how it was supposed to go down and what happened. They basically convinced Biden to step down, and then they were going to hold an open primary. That's what the word is. But then Biden, to stick it to the Democratic Party, basically endorsed Kamala at the last second. When he was making his announcement. And then they're like, crap. I guess we have to go with Kamala. Politics are insane. Okay, I like this. I like this manipulation to the upside. It was somewhat aggressive, and then we're getting aggressive displacement lower. We still need to see some movement, though. See, we just swept this level here. Now we're turning the other direction already. Stay out. We call Biden a Napster out here. Hey, if I'm honest, I mean, we can't have Trump get in office soon enough at this moment. It seems like the world's about ready to fall apart. Or explode. I think that's a more appropriate term. Thanks, Jordy. Yeah, I think that may have been the only... And the reason why I took it was we had no news today. And it is taught by ICT that talks about how if you see good price action in the pre-market, you can expect typically bad price action in the AM session, especially on no news days. So, did you see the Google Maps that marked the spot that he fell off the bike? No. They did not mark that on Google. That's pretty funny. Oh, it was a matter of like 48 hours that things were happening. But then Biden decided, I don't know if it was Biden or somebody decided to allow Ukraine to start using more weapons. So we got this 15-minute. We've been hovering on the discount portion of this 15-minute fair value gap. Staying on the discount portion, the lower half. On the 5-minute, we did wick up into this last fair value gap here on the 5-minute, and that was the last as well. That was basically the premium portion of that fair value gap of the 15-minute. I think we reach up a little bit higher. I'll be curious and see if we get through this mitigation block and this last 5-minute and 15-minute fair value gap towards these equal highs. I mean, the price action's looking as if it wants to complete that and then see if it fails. But we have a nice low resistance liquidity right here. I just need to find the conviction on it running to the downside. And for me, I think the equal highs are that. Equal highs are right here on the daily. What do you got for your weekly fair value gap there, Ted, on the 1 minute? Because I know that there was a tiny one right here at 941. Just, there's nothing. I don't want to risk capital on crap like this. I mean, look at that, folks. And if you have to tell yourself 1,000 times to not take a trade because it looks like this, tell yourself 1,000 times. Sometimes I have to do that. It's just not pretty. Not pretty at all. Oh, you included the volume imbalance? Okay, so from 550 or 555 to 541. So for Ted, what I have, and for those that have joined the Academy and joined the DTJ community on Discord, and for those that haven't, I'll be releasing a Black Friday deal next week, and then I also send an email out to everybody else again. But I have a channel on there for those here that's called Strategies, and I have a back testing channel that we can start back testing different things. So we as a community can set the rules that we want to identify certain things. And then we as a community can go in and start looking at those on a daily basis. Instead of just one person being responsible for it all, everybody can go in, and if they see it hasn't been posted, then they can draw it and drop it in that channel so we can start keeping track of and start collecting data long term as a community. I think that is the one area. I mean, I like I like the idea of data, but I don't like the idea of having to collect it over a long period of time. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to collect all that data, but if we can do it as a community, I think there's a lot of power in that. So I have that backtesting channel open for us to start backtesting different things, and then we'll pin the entry, the exit, and the stop loss rules on there, and people can start watching that and identifying if it's working out. Maybe we can even create a Google Sheet so we can start keeping track of all the data on a spreadsheet like I am with the 930 model. Right now I'm testing out a couple different variations of the 930 model to see if I can even reduce our risk even more. But I just don't have enough data to tell quite yet. Yeah, we're just sitting here, folks. We're just sitting here. There's not much. I'm talking because I'm keeping my hands off the trigger. That's basically what I'm doing. I got a new video that I'm editing right now. That's going to be coming out on risk management. I'm excited about it. It should be a good video. Best burger. Steak and Shake has great burgers. Five Guys has great burgers. These are chains across the United States that you would most likely be able to come in contact to. But I think the best burgers are going to be the local shops in whatever city that you may be in. But Steak and Shakes, you got Freddy's. Freddy's has a nice burger as well. They got some ice cream there, and their fries are phenomenal. They got these tiny, thinly cut fries. Oh my gosh. So they're super crispy. Freddy's is great. Guys Burgers, yes. They were my boys, my three boys, when they talk about what was my favorite, right? We play this family game on, how well do you know your family? And all of them talk about Guys Burgers all the time. Not Five Guys. Guys, Guy, the guy on TV that has white spiky hair that tries all this kind of different food. He branded a cruise line burger shop on Carnival Cruises. Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know his last name. Let's check out gold, folks. Let's see what gold is doing, huh? I'm waiting for it to hit that volume imbalance. Oh, there it is. Hit the volume imbalance. I wasn't paying attention to that. That's the high I wanted to see it hit. My ultimate downside target is this these equal lows down here at 2,351. I would like it to get down there and might buy me some more gold. Silver. Got an order block here. Again, I think it coming down to this level here, 27. Actually, I want to make 3, 4. Is Bitcoin going to go to 100? It was up to 91. What are we at? We're at 93 right now. I full ported. I'm full porting Bitcoin to 100,000. Oh, we got some displacement higher. 9:30, excuse me, 10:30, mid hour, the half hour there. What did we get on the 5 minute? Did the 5 minute close? The 5 minute did close. And did the 15 minute close? I'm assuming the 15 minute closed as well. 15 minute closed as well. Volume and balance, nice. Equal highs right here. I know, Bitcoin's insane right now. That's a nice move there. I can't tell you how much I just want to go long right now. I'm not going to do it. We got our order block. See how it respects it. I think the tag of that 5 minute was a good place for a long. That would be really nice too. Yes. Yes, Jordy. Let's see if we can get up to this level there. I want to see that inversion closed above. Right here. Low resistance liquidity right here with just a nice aggressive push higher towards those equal highs would be really nice. There it is. See if we can hit those. All right, so there's the tag. Now I would be more comfortable looking for a downside move for sure. We haven't had 3 consecutive candles of any color for a while. It's a horrible creep up manner. Oh, yeah. Here's the thing. I've been noticing this, and I'm just verbalizing this, is that we will, when we have an obvious level, we do this creep up thing, and then all of a sudden when we hit that level, we get a nice explosive candle. So it wouldn't surprise me even if we reach a little bit higher, maybe run for this liquidity right here pretty quickly. Now that we've inched higher, we've inched, and now it's going to be aggressive to this higher level, to this level right here, which is the, let's see, this is a 15-minute candle, 15-minute fair value gap that's overlapping with this area. And it wouldn't surprise me if we just aggressive in the last portion right here. But on the 1 minute, man, the 1 minute, it just, yeah, there hasn't been really anything that's been pretty. I'm officially closing my my funded accounts, and I'm just gonna do an eval. The obvious level right now that looks very attractive is this one on the 30-second. I like that for a down move now that we swept liquidity. We filled the new day volume imbalance. We haven't tagged or gotten up into this 15-minute yet. So we'll see. Honestly, I wouldn't mind it finding support at these equal highs and then continuing. But if it's aggressive and we close below this, I would take that to this low and maybe see if it wants to reach for some of these levels here. The 5 minute here, yeah, we have a 5 minute fair value gap that's sitting right here, and the 15 minutes down here. That's what we don't want. Don't run it. Son of a gun. That looked really nice, I'm not gonna lie. It took it from me. It took it from me. I like a retag of it. Yes, we did sweep this level, but if we find resistance here, I'd be interested in doing an eval to the downside, running this liquidity. Did we tag the 5 minute yet? We did tag the 5 minute already. So this 5 minute imbalance or fair value gap has already been tagged. Son of a gun. It didn't give it to us. It was there. It was obvious. And it already swept the low. So you can't take it. Do you think we could inverse this and run back to the highs? It depends if it does it in this candle. It would have to do it in this candle. I would not want the creepy stuff that we've seen. It would need to be aggressive. We need to close somewhere around above, ideally above the equal highs on this candle here. And it doesn't look like it's... Actually, I would look it at the 1 minute. 1 minute looks better. But I'm partial to the downside. That's me reading order flow to see if it would actually do that or not. I'm interested in a move to the downside. It didn't close here. We still have that. Here's the rest of that. We also have these volume imbalances right here, so it wouldn't surprise me if we wick up here just to balance these and then close lower, or it just wants to continue higher. Even if it wants to continue higher, that's fine. I'm going to view this as a high, low, higher, high, with this being my 5 minute change in state of delivery and a potential breaker. So this would be the breaker to the downside. Yeah, I mean, it just hasn't, it's not giving us the entries. This would have been a beautiful trade if it could have closed not way down here and already grabbed the liquidity. We got a 1 minute. We have a 1 minute right here. It's not very significant, not very obvious in my opinion. We do have a higher body close, so this is now considered a breaker in my book. I'll be right back, folks. Gotta use the restroom. This is considered a rejection block, this wick right here. Bodies came up into the wick above these bodies. That's considered a rejection block. That's enough for me to say if we get a nice aggressive close below this to potentially run for this low. This is our true change in state of delivery. So we want to see on the 5-minute time frame right here, it closed below this CISD level here. This up close candle is our 5-minute candle that ran into the equal highs as well as into the new day opening gap. So unless we see a push higher towards this, this is our change in state of delivery right now that we want to keep an eye on for price moving the other direction. If this candle wicks up into this, it needs to run this liquidity here. We would need to see the next candle run liquidity, and if it runs that liquidity, then that would be the new change in state of delivery. But look at that look at this. If we close red or black on this, this could be a turtle soup right here. We'll just have to see how it wants to play out. Really close to this liquidity sitting here. Alright, so I'm going to take off this breaker for the moment right now until we see that price does not want to. The only thing I'm going to leave on there is that. I don't think it needs to tag. We did tag the midnight open at 3 a.m. in the London session right here on Tuesday, today. So it doesn't have to reach all the way back there. The way that I really like the midnight open is if we haven't tagged it at all from London onwards. If it tags it in the Asia session, I really don't care. But if these two candles at 3 a.m. and 3:05 weren't here, I would say 100% that's the level that I want to see. Personally. We are now in the 11 a.m. macro. I'm at 11:18. Oh, midnight open from 11:18. Interesting. That, yeah, it overlaps with that high right there. So I don't see that being an issue. We just created this 1 minute order block. We should see that level tagged. Yeah, I don't know. I've seen it do reference midnight opens from a few days in the past. I have. I just don't know if it's because it's the midnight open or other points along throughout the day reference that point, and now it creates a point of liquidity. You know what I mean? It's kind of stacks on top of those levels already. So whether it's the midnight open or if it's because of the newer buy or sell side level, maybe. We got 1:45 on this 5 minute, and this is our last 5 minute level right there. Honestly, I really want to try a turtle soup here. This is a eval account, and I'm going to assume that was the high. Holy cow. I'm playing this as a turtle soup. That it's not going to go above that 5 minute. It filled it perfectly, and so that's why I decided I wanted to take this as a short. Let's just see if it wants to continue lower here. It's only a 5 handle, 4 handle stop loss. We got all this low resistance liquidity sitting right here, so I'm treating that as this should be a protected high unless we want to move higher. There's no other fair value gaps to the upside on the 5 minute or the 15 minute. We ran the equal highs in this high right here inside the 15 minute and the 5 minute. I'm going to say that that's our high. Our first real point of liquidity is going to be right here. So I'd like to see if it wants to aggressively move down to this level right here. I'm hoping we get that falling knife, Bob. I just hope it doesn't stop me out. I really wanted to see this order block disrespected, and it was respected, unfortunately. I only took one contract, so I can't take partial profits. So we're just going to do it on the analysis and wait for price to hit this target here. I'm looking for that as my target. I don't even know how much I need on this eval. I only need 500 more, so I probably don't even need to go all the way down there. We'll see if we can get down to this level here. That's not a pretty candle. All right, Jordy, take care, man. Patrick, I think you're right. Overall, we're in a range. And it's kind of indecisive on that 4-hour candle. The 4-hour kind of... We're gonna see this. We're gonna see this play out. That's what we're waiting on. Yeah, this order block, I want to see this order block right here disrespected. This 1050 candle, I really want to see us close below the new day opening gaps. We get a close right here, I think it's game over. I think we run at least to this fair value gap, if not through it and to this liquidity point right here. I have a question. What should be my take profit daily on a 50K account? So, Deborah, if you are... so I'm making a video on risk management that's going to kind of have a little focus on the evals. And hang on, I want to see what happens here, if we're just going to blow right through this or if it's going to reject again. I'm hoping for a rejection. It's kind of hard to focus when you're like, oh, is my stop going to be hit? I don't like that close. Let me ask you this, Deborah. What is your current? What do you want your take profit to be? Let me ask you that question. Now I'm watching these two down close candles. It bounced off that again. I really wanted to see it violate these two down close candles. $400 to $500. I think that is this your PA account, or is this an eval account? Okay, I think that's a little aggressive, because you got to remember that your risk is $2,500. All right, so got tagged out. Dang it. All right, so let me do some math for you here real quick. The math is pretty. Here's how I would decide, okay? So you need to decide how many trades are you comfortable with taking, that if you were to have a loss, if you were to have 5, 10, 15 losses in a row, how many of those would you want it to take before you blow your account? For me, it was 10. So you would take 10 divided by 2,500. If you're saying, well, I think 10 is a good enough number to where I feel like I'm probably not going to have 10 trades in a row, and it gives me a big enough cushion to continue working on my funded account. This is what I did for eval accounts. Now, for my performance accounts, I think for you starting out, I would make that 20. I'd make that 20 times. So you want to have 20 opportunities before you would blow your account. So all you have to do is take 20 divided by 2,500. Oops, I'm sorry, I did that the wrong way. 2,500 divided by 20, and that is 80, or 125. So you take 2,500 divided by 20, that is going to give you does that allow me to do that? No, it doesn't. That's going to give you $125 for your stop loss. So when you're taking your trades, you're going to be looking at it like this. All right, if I'm taking a long, I'm going to target my target profit wherever it may be. And here's the I'm about to jump on what you're just saying. Instead of focusing on profit, you need to focus on your stop loss. Profit will come. You want to be in the game as long as you can, and that's your ultimate goal. How do I make sure that I'm protecting myself so I'm not blowing the account? That is first and foremost your priority. It is the number one priority. Profits will come as you focus on education. So if I'm doing one micro contract at 10 handle with a 10 handle stop loss, that's $200. So if I'm doing $125, that means I'm looking at five handles and a quarter. That's basically what I'm looking at. 6 handles, excuse me. It would be 6 handles, approximately. This would be your stop loss. Now, in my opinion, 6 handles is too small on the Nasdaq. So what does this tell us? That means we cannot be trading on the mini contracts. We need to drop down to micros. Okay? So now if we're going to trade on the micros and we already know we want $125 risk, we know that for every 1 point, for every 1 point is $2. So we're going to take 125 divided by $2. That's for 1 micro contract. Let's just say we want to do 5 micro contracts. That's going to be $10. What does that equal? Well, 125 divided by 10, we know what that is. That's 12.5 handles. So what does that tell me? I could have a stop loss with 5 contracts, 5 micro contracts. My comfortable stop loss is right there. 12 handles is more manageable in the Nasdaq. Okay, let's just pull this and let's look at a couple scenarios. If you were to want to play one of these momentum trades off of the breakers, off of the order block, because you know it's going to run higher, and you get in long right at this order block, well, your stop loss would not be hit, especially if we're in the environment where it wants to move higher. Okay, let's do a short position. Okay, same concept. Let's go to 12.5, and this is what you should be doing just to get familiar with what your options are. Okay, so if we were to take this short, okay, what does this tell me? If you know that this is going to be an opportunity in the future, which I think it will be, I still think this is a great inversion. This is also a decent inversion here as well, towards this low. What you can do is you can say, all right, well, I know that for my rules for inversions is it has to close above. So if we close below, I need it to close above for me to get out. Does 12 handles cover this? With 12 handles is way sufficient. So you have 2 options. You can stick with 5 micro contracts and do this based on the rules that if it closes above, you're going to close your trade, but you're targeting this level here. That's a 1-to-1 ratio. That's a great setup. Or you can say, well, what if I was to drop it down to 5 or 6 and I go back up to 1 mini contract? Because my risk, I can reduce my risk because I'm looking for it to only close above this, which is really, really tight. So I could reduce my stop loss and I could go heavier on this trade if you really like it. So everything needs to be out of the lens of what is your stop loss? What are you going to lose if you're incorrect? So I would be doing it based on 20 losses, meaning your stop loss that you're going to allow yourself on every trade is $125. Do not risk more than $125. So look at this trade right here. We just had this inversion just created. Okay, it's not an ideal setup, but let's use it as an example. We just closed above it right there, right? So now, if I was in 5 micro contracts, this would be my target. I'm targeting this high for 11 handles, and my loss is 12 handles, 12 and a half handles. Now, if we close below this level here, I'm going to be able to cut this trade short and lose even less. But I'm going to have a hard stop loss at this 12.5 level. I'm hoping that it works out. It's part of my model. It's part of my trade. But I'm only willing to lose at a max 12 and a half handles with 5 micro contracts, giving me only $125 loss. Everything needs to be viewed out of what is my potential loss in this. Is this good risk versus reward? Right? To me, this is not good risk versus good not reward versus the risk that I'm taking. Why? We're in high premium. It could still work out, but it's just not a trade that I personally would want to take. Okay? But nonetheless, Here's our first take profit. There you go. That trade would have worked out. You managed your risk appropriately and you ended up green on the trade. But you first planned what your loss would be. Plan your losses. Plan the losses. Expect the win. Okay? Plan the loss, expect the win. Is that helpful? Does that make sense? You have on here, that makes sense. Okay, good. Literally the video I'm about to come out with, I'm editing it right now, is about this very topic. And one of the things that I mention in there is one of the mistakes traders make is they focus on their profits and how much they should make and how much they want to get instead of identifying how much loss they're going to allow themselves to take. So there's nothing wrong with saying, oh man, I want to make, for me, I want to make a minimum of $200 a day on my accounts. There's nothing wrong with that. But if I do that before I've already planned what my risk is, then that's foolish. That's foolish. You need to plan what you're willing to lose first and then start working on your strategy for your take profits. But if you do it the other way around, you're going to hurt yourself. The other mistake traders make is they end up moving their stop loss. They go, oh man, this looks great. I'm going short. Okay, here's my stop loss. It's 10 handles. Oh man, well, what if it just wicks above this and it turns around? Okay, I'm just gonna raise it up here to give it some breathing room. And I really think it's gonna go lower because it hit this liquidity point. It has to reverse right here, but I guess it could come up and hit this. So I'm just gonna give it a little space. And then all of a sudden, you now have more risk than you planned for. And if it comes up and takes that loss, well, it's going to hurt and you're going to learn something. The worst thing that could happen is you do this and it does something like this, and then you get a win out of it, and it reinforces the idea that it's okay to move your stop loss. The last thing that I want to have happen for you is you move your stop loss because you're like, oh, I think it would be better up here. And then it works out for you. That reinforces the wrong principles that you need to use on a daily basis. Moving our stop loss is a mistake. It needs to stay at your absolute max stop loss. And if you want a bigger stop loss, reduce the size. Instead of taking 5 micro contracts, take 2 micro contracts so that $125 loss is, at this point, at 22 handles. Well, great. Now, if you planned for that and you had the appropriate risks set up and then it works out for you, that's fantastic risk management. But there's an example. Let's see what happens. Does it just wick above here and turn directions because I was at full size before? That's what we don't want to have happen. If you do this with the reduced size, reduced risk, then that's great risk management. Okay? I want to see you succeed, and you have to focus on your potential loss first. Here's Midnight Open. Ted was it Ted or Jordy was pointing this out? We're so close to it at this point. You know what? I think here's our London highs. London highs. At this point, to me, that's what we're reaching for. That's what makes sense. So when you see me trade, Deborah, you're going to see many oftentimes, for example, I like this potentially. This is a momentum play. I already know what I'm willing to lose already because I've just done it so often that I know when I'm going to get out, right? I already know that around 40 ticks, I'm closing the trade max 60 ticks. That's a 10 to 15 handle stop loss for me on an eval account. This is an eval account. Okay. So I know what I'm willing to potentially lose and I'm okay with that. So I don't put all of those details on here right away because I know what I'm kind of looking for. So here's an example of a push through. We got a big candle, 49 seconds, and I'm going to go ahead and see how it reacts here. And close it. All right. That wants to. Oh, what the heck is that? I'm watching that level right there. I want it to stay above that level. Here's the 30-second. This was an example trade. I would have never taken this if it was not just an eval account. So this is an eval just to articulate how I know where I'm putting my stop loss. Now I'm waiting for the close. So there's the close. Tells me that it's lower. It closed below this and I don't want to mess around with it. So there's the close. I knew where I was going to take my close and it primarily was if we closed below this and disrespected this order block. So as you do it more and more and more, you're going to just know where your stop loss needs to be. And if you want to take the emotions out of it, you need to put a limit order at those levels. So let's say, for example, we're going short right here. You need to put your limit order, a stop order, right at this high in case it actually goes there. So now I don't have to worry about it. It's already set. And if it runs against me, don't worry about it. I don't have to worry about it because I already have that level set. You just don't want to move it. Make sense? Let's see if we can get just a little bit wick lower and I'll get out of this. I don't want it to go that way. I like it to close green. I don't know why. Even one tick. I think we're bullish right here. I was using this as an example. I wanted to see if it has the, if it wants to run lower. I don't think it will. So I have the stop set there. If it gets hit, it gets hit. There it is. So that was hit. Now, if it runs the other way, it runs the other way. I mean, I'm not going to worry about it. It's just part of making sure you have proper risk management. And if it's going to do this back and forth, you don't want to be in this anyway. I mean, it should have ran. Folks, that's going to be it for today. We are, what time is it? I've been on for a little bit. It's been a little over 2 hours. We'll be back again tomorrow. We were green on the day. besides my 2 example trades that I was sharing with you guys, we are green on the day on all my funded accounts. Beautiful day today. We'll be conservative tomorrow again, as we have no news again tomorrow. Use the code DTJ if you want 80% off your funded account or off your eval account. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. God bless you. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.